Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast. This is where we hang out a little bit longer. We love to hear from you, and you can reach out to us a number of different ways. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, you can push the talkback mic and send us a message that way. If you're not, you can always just record a voice memo if you want to. Send that to us in a Facebook message or email us at murphysamandjodi.com. Either way, we love to hear from you.
One of the emails we had answered today was from Dawn, asking sincerely, the two of you, hey, I'm struggling with not drinking, not having alcohol as part of my life. What do you suggest? And I thought your answers to her were beautiful, and you guys were overflowing with answers. I wasn't expecting that, and I'm glad that she reached out. If she's having a tough time, that's the right thing to do, for one thing, is to talk to somebody, So it was pretty touching to me that she reached out in the first place. So I hope it helps in some way. Yeah, and your answers were one day at a time. Sam, you even said even 1 hour at a time. Yeah. And that other people's methods may not work for you. I love that too.
One of the things that I don't know if you mentioned it, Murphy, but it was to seek out if the 12-step thing or something else is not working, seek out a substance abuse counselor, people that are trained to help you deal with that. If the whole group 12-step thing is not yours, you just want to do a one-on-one thing, that's a way to do it. That was just another one that popped into my head. But I wanted to ask you, Murphy, a personal question. When you're at home with Jodi, no, just kidding. It's been, 12 years for you now, or almost 12?
So it was May 19th, 2011. Since you've had a drink. Yeah, so that's 13 years. Yeah.
13. Mm-hmm. Do you still have cravings?
I don't think, generally speaking, I have cravings. I do have the associations that will happen every now and then. I don't even really miss it as much as I used to. I mean, now, as time has gone on, more quickly, because if it does hit me, I mean, there's a moment where it's like, I know that smell of like a good reposado tequila, So craving maybe, but it would be easy to go, oh my God, it's enticing. Yeah. But, excuse me, I know what the answer is, which is, and I don't know what happens if I actually pour that in a glass and drink it. Yeah. So,
you used to tell me that you would play that movie in your head. Yeah, is that still true?
Oh, that is still true, and that happens a lot. Maybe that's the reason that there aren't cravings per se. So, for example, when Jodi was traveling, when you went to see Alanis Morissette with your cousins, and I went out to eat by myself that weekend. Oh, yeah. And I think we did something on the show about that, where we're saying, hey, if you want an easy way to get a fast seat at a jam-packed restaurant, go sit at the bar, usually.
Which you did.
Which is really easy to do when it's just one person, because usually you can find a seat. And so I did, and I ordered, and I noticed the stuff that was up on the bar.
Yeah, it's right there.
And I actually was a little critical of it, because I'm thinking, this is not the good stuff. Where's the good stuff? But it wasn't like wow, I wish I could. None of that. Yeah. Usually, if that happens to me, what Jodi says is true. The movie will start playing in my head. Because when the movie plays,
it's all over.
It ends the same way every single time. And
so that helps stop your craving.
There are songs that keep me, they're like a punch in the gut. And it's really weird. As much time has gone on, anything that reflects that night of the DUI, or just, and I say it's not just the DUI. It was the culmination of all of the events. That, I guess, was I don't want to call it, I guess you could call it rock bottom. I feel like I got lucky that it wasn't as bad as other people's rock bottoms, but it was the big fired warning across the missile across the bow or whatever, that if I didn't pay attention that night, I was really going to put myself down in a bad path, because, it's the outcome of that DUI and all that could have been a really, really horrible
story.
Situation. And that's the reason that, for my own personal sake now, DUI, if you've got a problem, that's one thing. And I respect that people do have issues and they're challenging. And I have total empathy for anybody that struggles with substance abuse. But the DUI part, once you've gone through what happened to me, which was, a near head-on collision, and it could have been really, 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 it could have been bad. It could have changed everything. But then going through all of the other, the legal stuff and Mothers Against Drunk Drivers presentations and all those things, where you realize how real and bad that one mistake can change your life or the lives of families everywhere.
Countless people.
It's not worth it. So when that part of the movie plays, that's my grounding, if I needed to get there. But I don't really have, I don't want to say cravings overall. Sometimes I miss the flavor of some things, and I think about that. But and I was going to say the two songs, it's funny, Adele, Rolling in the Deep, and Rocketeer. Who sang Rocketeer?
I don't remember, but it was a great song. But I remember that being a thing.
Those two songs, I mean, even today, if I hear them, it is...
It's bad association.
Rolling in the Deep gets played a lot. It's one of those radio songs that gets played everywhere. It's a punch in my gut.
You have to change it all? You change it?
He does.
No, I don't. Well, sometimes, but I'll just kind of
I only listen to that when you're not around because I know that song
it's not good.
punches
it's just,
you in the gut.
For me, it's just not. Beautiful song. I love Adele, but I can't. That transports me back. So why? Do you have a craving?
Right.
Do you
That's
ever?
the question.
No, and the reason I asked is I was wondering if I was the weird one because, okay, let me give you a little background on this. When I did go to AA, when I first started into the process,
Okay, Sam.
there are a lot of people, I've been here 30 years. I've been here 25 years. And it's like they still have that craving.
Or they need to be there.
Well, no. They
said they had a craving?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
they will express that I still have, and I have to come here and I crave. And it's like, I understand that exists, but for me, it doesn't. So I was just wondering from you if you had it kind of like me. I don't think about it anymore unless I'm in a situation like a social gathering where everybody's drinking. I don't even, there's not even a, boy, I could use a vodka today, or boy, I could use a beer.
Great.
And just like you at the restaurant criticizing the back bar.
There's that.
There's times when it's like, oh, they put out a new beer and it's blueberry.
I know.
I bet that tastes good. And I will occasionally vocalize that, and people freeze and they look at you, and it's like, don't worry, I'm just making a comment.
Well, I what I think that's about the acceptance part. You've wired yourself.
I think it is the wiring.
Once you have, because you're still making those decisions as they happen. Even when you see God, that blueberry would be great. Even if you're not consciously thinking about that, your mind automatically goes through, okay, well, that can't, the reason I can't do that is I can't control of it. Okay, I accept that. I don't have any control.
And here comes the movie again.
Yeah. And so you just, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I have a really weird guilt that goes with that every now and then because I've seen some people, it has been so hard for some people to pull themselves, out of that.
I feel like addiction affects different people differently.
It does, yes. But I I really do think that the acceptance on a number of different levels and the powerlessness, the admitting of the powerlessness, and giving, not trying to fight all of those things. Once you accept, then you're mentally not going to be in a place where you say, "Woe is me," and you might get the "I wish" every now and then, but you're not going to fight yourself because you're actually you've accepted it. And so I know exactly what you mean when it comes to that. And the other thing that I think helped me is my dad was drinking almost killed him. It was at home though, and because he just was going to drink himself to death. Honestly, he was drinking morning, noon, and night. And so when he finally went into rehab, that was my introduction to conjoint and to all of the other the counseling
facets of it.
Yeah, and so once I experienced those and actually accepted that as part of the process, because I watched my mom fight that. My mom did not. My mom, said he's got the problem. I don't have the problem. I don't need to be talking about me. And you start to understand all of those dynamics, things that I used to judge at first that I don't judge any of it anymore. Yeah. The whole thing is very, it's very complex, but. My dad somehow came out the back end of it and never drank again. And he actually, which he would have never done, was leading AA meetings. My dad, that was not my dad.
He was so introverted.
But he, but he did that. So I think experiencing that, maybe, and this is going to sound crazy deep, but maybe the acceptance of that, me accepting that my dad had a problem that he couldn't control, opened up my mind to realizing the thing that my mom didn't fight it, by the way, for the rest of her life. She eventually got it. My mom just didn't ever want to be told what to do,
right?
Which that runs in the family. But But so she did.
Sure does.
She fought it. It's like, I mean, alcohol's legal. It's for sale. I'm not going to do that. If I want to keep it in the house, all of the reasons why she was not going to.
Right.
And when the fight part is there, which is just a natural part of the process, you got to get through that. It's the grieving. It's the whatever, where you finally get to a place where if you really do accept, it doesn't mean you're going to be free of the problem for the rest of your life. It just means that you understand how to respond to it when it jumps in, into your mind.
Whoa.
And so
did you hear what you just said?
Well,
it doesn't mean you're going to be free of the problem. It just means
it's not. Yeah, there's no cure for it. There is no cure for it.
What you're saying is valuable. That's all.
So but Sam
good.
knows what I'm talking about when it comes to that too. It really is.
Also part of when I first started to go into it, for at least a couple of months in my head, I went into it with the attitude of, I got to do this, but it doesn't mean it's permanent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. That is very honest.
And it's not, and I had done this in the past, quit for 3 months, quit for 6 months, and then I'm going to just have a beer. And then it literally, I'm proof that it does
right
back into it, and real quick too. Yeah. I mean, you're back up to speed real quick.
Yeah, you don't start slowly.
I was like, that's fine. I mean, the kids get older and everybody moves away. I can start drinking again. Or, and this time, since it'll be so long, I'll have control over it and da-da-da. And then at some point, that's just like, okay, forget that. It's stupid. It's over. Just You had your last drink. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. It's over.
Yeah. I think it's really good for you guys to talk about it. It's one of those things that you guys share. Your stories are not identical because you're not identical, but it is something that you two share. And I'm sorry to say it, and I know you both did it differently, and you didn't go through the 12 steps and all that, and you didn't go to a whole full program. I know you went a few times, but I think you have each other. Y'all talk about it all the time in here, even if it's a jokey thing, and I think it helps.
It has to. We have to joke sometimes.
Yeah, you joke about it a lot, but that is the reason for groups and reaching out. That's the reason that I'm really glad that we will get a Facebook, whether it's Dawn or anybody else who reaches out and and ask that part. It opens a big door to to recovery. But I think it's the what you just said a second ago, Sam, is the one thing I can't say. I can't say, I can say the last time I had a drink, but I cannot proclaim it's the last drink. Mm-hmm. I can't proclaim, and I still can't. It's weird. It's pressure. Excuse me. It's weird. It's pressure. For the rest of my life, if I try to say I'm never going to have a drink again, that's too much. Mm-hmm. I can't bear that weight, that mental stress. And it's okay. I don't have to, because really, if if I don't have a drink today, then there's a much better chance that I'm not going to have a drink somewhere in the rest of my life. But it's only going to be today,
right? And
that's the only way that I can actually cope and manage it. Otherwise, it freaks me out a little bit. And I know it's not. It's not anything other than it's the Here's why. Actually, I just realized why. Because proclaiming it is acting like I have control.
Yeah. Yes.
And I don't have control over that. That's the reason I had to, to stop when I did, because I elected to get behind the wheel the night that I did. I was not sober enough to realize what I was doing. Doesn't matter. I still elected to do it. Therefore, I don't have control. And so if I profess it, as my last and put a flag in the ground and go, I'm done, then for me, that's trying to control it again. Mm-hmm. And I can't really do that except in the present moment. That's all.
Man, listen to you guys.
Do you ever have issues on a daily basis? As in, like what I mentioned about social situations, I don't even think about it. It's like right now, I'm not thinking about, boy, I could wet my whistle. The only time I'll think about it is like we went on a business trip and there was a gathering, and people are drinking. It's like, ding, I think about it. I don't think like, gee, I wish I could. It's just, okay, there it is.
Yeah, you're aware of it.
It's in
in
front
those
of you.
situations, I think of it, but like I can go for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, or whatever, a month
Right.
or two without ever
You're
thinking,
thinking about it.
booze, 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 booze. Oh, look at that,
Great.
look at that. It's just, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Now, right
Right.
now, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's good. But I think that shows, again, it's a very, everybody's approach to it is very unique and different. And at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is what works for the person who doesn't want to drink anymore.
Correct.
It doesn't have to look exactly the same way,
Correct.
as everybody else. For some people, it's going to mean staying away from a bar. And I know in the beginning for me, that was tough. I couldn't, because I was definitely still in the poor me phase, which was that hear the voice of one of the counselors that my dad had. It was poor me, poor me, pour me another drink.
Yeah.
And that's where he would, it just, when you're not done with that part of the process if you're still feeling sorry for yourself. And that's that evil little thing sitting on your shoulder that wants to try to convince you to, you really are, man. Look at everybody else. Why are you the one who's the outsider? That's not right. It shouldn't be that way. All those lies that wind up kind of getting, that your own voice wants to
You
put
tell
into your own
yourself.
head. Right. But so now when I see that, I see it for what it is. I can definitely tell when somebody's had too much to drink now.
Yeah.
In the past, it used to be a
Doesn't
little
look
difficult
good,
because,
does
no, it doesn't.
You know what?
You know,
That's the
It doesn't
truth.
look
Because when you were in the same boat, it's just like, yeah, we're having fun or whatever. You're just two beers ahead of me. Slow down. But now when you see it, it's just like, God, my God.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
Wow. You guys are getting so beautifully honest.
but I think it's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, and it makes me think of Dawn again too. Dawn, if you're listening to this, who sent us the Facebook
email.
message and email. If you
I think your aunt.
if you're still having the cravings, just I don't want to say roll with it, because roll with it doesn't mean to indulge in it. Roll with it means understand it's very normal, and that the fight to shut off a voice in your head is going to be very, very difficult. It's how you respond to the voice, and to me, that's the thing that you do every time. And then once that voice starts to pop up, you'll get more comfortable with your response to that voice. Mm-hmm. But fighting it was the same thing for me when I quit smoking. By the way, it was and that was 25 years ago.
One of the things I think I know I did different than you, Murphy, and I mean, Dawn, this is just another idea, is I talked to my doctor
Nice.
because I had read that, or I knew that there was a medication that you could take that if
That
you
makes you
drank
sick?
with it, a drop of alcohol, I mean, even NyQuil or Listerine or whatever, it would make you violently ill.
Okay.
So it's like, for me, I needed that tool to help me get going.
Sure.
So for the first 6 months, I was on that medication. It was just once a day, and it wasn't expensive. It was just your basic. And I took it once a day, and I never felt that need to, let me see if this
Test
really
it.
works.
Right.
Good.
It's like I took it, and my 6 months were up. The guy says, I'm taking you off it. Good. That's great. I'm sailing now. Let's get going. But that's
awesome.
That's another option. It's that there is that.
Yeah.
I don't even think, I can't remember the name of the medication, but there is that thing that
Of course,
will.
talk to your doctor.
And he also told me at the time there was a second medication that doesn't affect you physically, it affects you mentally. When you have that, boy, I sure would like a drink right now, it kind of does something in your head and makes you think something else, or no, I don't want to. And I'm not a doctor, I don't know the specifics, but there are a couple medications.
Right. So talk to your doctor if you're concerned, if you need tools.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you can send us anything, anytime, because we see and read every comment, every email, and we dig into many of them in a very real way. So thank you for that, Dawn.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.